So I want to make sure we spend our time where you feel like you're the most comfortable. I'm going to share a few different um, headings for you, and you tell me which one you feel like you're most adept at. A couple of them: how to win a Zillow Flex account. First off, for folks who don't even have one, strategically picking zip codes. Onboarding team members to your Zillow Flex team, initial lead conversion, scripts and processes and things like that, ongoing follow up for lead conversion, leadership, coaching, and accountability of your team members, follow up boss for monitoring and coaching and accountability, and then Zillow Home Loans. Of those categories, are there some that you feel more inclined to talk about?
Follow-up boss, we just got that like less than a year ago, and we're having a class on that next Tuesday is when we're having a class on that because we're going back to school. So We're going to go back to school. We're going to be from 10 until 4. We're going to be studying follow-up boss.
Okay.
So we're going to not meet at a different location where they have like, conference tables, and it holds like 100 people. And so people can come in and learn. And then we'll have lunch and snacks and stuff like that. So I'm really big on and then the first one, Zillow had 269 teams in Georgia, and they got rid of all the teams except for 53. And all my friends that were with Zillow, they all got let go. And so I knew I was going to get let go too, because all my friends got let go. So I was really scared to even tell anybody I had a Zillow team. So I didn't. So I just had a couple people on my team. And so I figured if I made it, it's great. And if it didn't. So one girl on our team in December, she got a telephone call from this person that was coming in from Florida. And that was Carrie. And so Carrie, they're like, we want to buy a home in Cumming. So she said, okay. So she drove to Cumming, and they're like, oh, well, we want to look at a house which is, an hour north. And then she's like, no,
Georgia,
we want to look at a house in Gainesville. So she went to Gainesville, and they're like, we need to look at a house in Cleveland, Georgia.
Dear Lord.
And so she was like, okay. So she went to all 3 of the places, and they ended up buying the one in Cleveland. And that deal right there saved our Zillow team. And they told me that because they came in and they bought in the same month. So that saved us. So everybody got let go except for 53 teams. And now they're down to 49 teams. So how you get a Zillow team, they told us that they're not getting any more Zillow teams in Georgia. They've got the Zillow teams, and the Zillow teams can expand.
When you think back to when you first landed your Zillow Flex account, aside from the application process and going through their training and all, do you feel like there was anything that put you ahead of the pack in getting your account in the first place?
I think that I started off with Zillow when I was with Remax, and I had some good success with Zillow. And then I got so busy that I kind of just didn't do anything with Zillow. And I really thought that I didn't need Zillow, but I went down to Florida to an EXP event, and one of the guys there was old Zillow. He was with Zillow, and he said, go back to Atlanta and see if they'll give you your Zillow account back. So I said, I really don't want to do that. And then the gal that I was with said, oh, please do it. We need it. And so I said, okay. So I came back to Atlanta, and I called them, and they said, if you want a Zillow account, you've got to call 150 people between now and Monday. And that was Friday, and call all your people, and then call us back on Monday. And if you've done it, then we'll consider giving you a coach and get you back on the Zillow team. So I said, okay. So I did it. I just did all that, got back on the Zillow team, got my coach. And then they got another coach. And then my third coach was awesome. And then we just kind of started building. Once they said I had the Zillow team for sure, I said, if I got the Zillow team, I'm going full fledged. So we went from like 3 to 13. Then we went from 13 to, 30, and then to like 50. And now we're like at 60. I really want to get it to 100 by the end of the year. So we're going to hopefully get there. So that's what I'm shooting for. Because we've got the way we've got it set up, that we don't have a lot of people who leave our team. We have them, they stay at our team, because I think the thing that EXP doesn't have is they don't have the bonding that people need. And so we provide that. So anytime, I mean, they come in, they're part of our family. So every Tuesday we have an event. I have an event every Tuesday where we have a speaker come in, and then we have like lunch, and everybody talks, and they get to know each other, and then it creates bonds. And then also I have a WhatsApp, and every time anybody needs a plumber, I need a plumber, I need a roofer, I need this, I need that, whatever they need, everybody's just giving. And I make sure that anybody that's on our team is a giver's gain team. So if you're on our team and you don't give, then you're not a good fit for us, because we all give. Because I tried to set it up like Glenn Sanford set this company up so that people love it so much that they never want to leave it. That's what I try to do. And I have the education and the background. So, we have a great foundation, and the people, like, we just got a Keller Williams broker on our team. So we're so excited about that, because she has lots of knowledge too. So, it's just
That's
wonderful.
awesome. Yeah, I think that's probably something a lot of people overlook is with any team, the culture of the team really does dictate winning or losing just from the get-go, right? Skill and all of that comes definitely part of it. But if you don't have a good culture, I don't care who you have that's skilled. How many sports teams have skilled players, but suck in the end of the day because they have no community and culture.
And we
Can I
really
ask
care about everybody. Honestly, I want everybody to be successful. I've been very successful in my real estate career, and now it's time for me to pass it on. And I want every single person on our team to be very successful. So I kind of set my team up differently. I get called from other EXP agents and also other people outside of EXP telling me that I'm not doing it right, that I'm not doing the Zillow team right. But I just say, okay, you do it your way, I'll do it my way. It's working for me. So that's the way I
Yeah,
do it.
you seem to be doing okay until Zillow calls you and tells you that. I don't know how much credence you want to give to that. Can I ask you some detailed questions about what you just said, though? You said that you had done pretty well with Zillow prior, and I'm assuming you mean like Premier Agent kind of workings. Is that right?
Back when they first started, I was with Remax, and they came to our convention, and I signed up for them.
Okay.
So I signed up right away. So it was good.
Okay. I could understand why they would do that. There's a lot of money in the mortgage side of things, especially if you've already spent the money to generate the sales side of the lead. Um, when you think about lead conversion on your team, first off, if I'm a newer agent coming in and I'm going to join your Zillow Flex team, what do I need to know about lead conversion?
Well, you've got to get every person, if you want to sell anyone help anybody buy a home, they need to like you, know you, and trust you. And if they do not like you, know you, and trust you, they'll never buy from you. So you want them to, and you've got to gain their trust pretty quickly, because and that's why the buyer brokerage agreement Zillow has a little touring agreement, which doesn't hold weight, but it gets you to date them instead of marrying them with an exclusive buyer brokerage agreement. But I think that, that is a good way to kind of break the ice, is first just say, I'm sending you the touring agreement to sign. But the conversion is they have to like you, know you, and trust you, and gain trust. And how do they do that? Over the phone, because you hadn't even met them. And sometimes you don't even meet them till you see them at the house, because, well, you always call them, but they have those real-time tours now at Zillow. So real-time, and we get more real-time tours than we do phone calls now. So at first, last year, we got more phone calls. Now we get, I would say probably 70% or 80% are all real-time tours. People just push the button on the internet for us to show them the property. So then we always take every single person that we meet, because we don't know who these people are, and put them in a program called Forewarn to make sure they're not a murderer or something like that.
Very familiar with the tool.
What now?
It's a good tool. I was just saying I'm very familiar with the tool, and it's a very good tool, and I love that you guys do that. That's smart. Can I ask you, because I'm not familiar with real-time tours. So is the calendar of the agent like through a Calendly type app or something like that? Is it up there where the person is able to go ahead and schedule the time? Or is it like they press schedule the tour and it direct connects to that agent?
No, what happens is on a real-time tour, they push it on the internet. They want to go see a piece of property, and if you get it, then you say you accept it or don't accept it. And they give you 3 times, so you decide which time you want to accept it, and you accept the time. And then Zillow, since they own showing time, they go ahead and make the appointment for you, and they come back and say you got an appointment, unless it's appointment only. So you already met, and then I always just kind of double it to make sure that nothing went through the cracks or anything, but you have an appointment there. But
Is this all text-based back and forth?
Yes.
Okay.
So you've never even, so how are they going to like you, know you, and trust you, you know?
Yeah,
So you have got to get beyond that. And so how we get beyond that is we always call them back. We always call them. We do not show up for appointments until we call them, because we've got to hear another voice. You've got to have some kind of connection to them, or it won't ever work. You know, you've got to have the connection, because they've got to like you, know you, and trust you. And you can say, hey, listen, let's go get a cup of coffee. We're big. Well, let's go get a cup of coffee and we can tell you what, the next steps are, da, 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 da. So that's what our whole team is really good on, cup of coffees.
Is that cup of coffee coming before you go see that initial listing, or afterward?
Okay. Afterwards. You go and say, hey, listen, you got a few minutes? Let's go grab a cup of coffee and see what you're looking for. And then they go through their buyer presentation. And then on their buyer presentation, then they get them to sign and tell them what they're going to do for them to sell a home, to make it, more and more and more commitment to them, so they can see how hard we work and that we're totally in on helping them find their home. And we're going to take great care of them. And that we have the knowledge to be able to get them over the finish line on their new home, where they can love each other and love the Lord and raise their family.
When you have a new agent coming on to your team, do you have like a Harriet Hinson Zillow Flex team training manual that you give them? You do. First off, could you tell me a little bit about that? And secondly, if you care to share, I would love to see that.
Sure. I'll be glad to send it to you. It's the process. I'm always changing it, though. I'm always trying to tweak it. I'm kind of serious on it, because I want to, they're brand new coming on, and I want to be very firm with them, because this is so serious to me. It's very, very serious that they do a great job and they're in. I don't want anybody that's like, yeah, I'll sell one every now and then. I want them to be all in. I want them to want to go sell. I want them to be able to provide for their families. And if everybody is making money, everybody's happy. So it's when they aren't, or, they get disengaged. So I want everybody on our team to be very successful. So, so what, I'm very strict though on Thursdays, very strict on Thursdays. Like if they come in late, I'm like, hey, you're late. And that means you're going to be late to meet a client. That's not good. I just tell them it's not good to be late. You need to be on time. Actually, you need to be early, because, you never know who you're meeting. And, if you're late to meet over here, that tells me a lot. If they're late to come to the meeting, that tells me they might be late to meet a client. So I'm very strict about getting them all set up, because I know that everybody over time, everybody kind of slacks off a little bit. So you got to kind of get them in the right mindset to start off. You got to get everybody in the right mindset.
You said that there's is that where you're going through that manual, or is there a distinct period of time at the very beginning that they have to do before they even get invited to those Thursday meetings? How does that work?
Yeah, I don't mind if anybody comes to the Thursday meetings to see, because sometimes they come on Thursday meetings and they never come back. Lots of times they do, and that's fine with me. It's fine if they don't come back, because if they don't have what it takes to do Zillow leads, then, they're not a good fit for our team, but they might be good for something else, getting leads other ways, because there's a million sources out there. Then I kind of steer them toward B&I or something like that, or other ways to make a good living in real estate.
Okay. So speaking of that, Do you struggle, or have you struggled and solved for the sort of cherry picking of leads?
I don't
Um,
put up with that.
say again?
I don't put up with that. They cannot cherry pick, period. They
And
cannot cherry pick.
and do you find that there are still some outliers who try, and what does that look like when you see that? How do you course correct with that individual?
Nobody's going to cherry pick. I drill it through their heads when they're on the Zillow team. They cannot cherry pick.
Okay.
They're just
And
not,
I
they're
was
not doing
talking.
that.
Okay. I was talking with Zoocasa, and I don't know if you're aware of this. We own Zoocasa, and they are
Hey,
the largest.
we EXP and Sukasa.
Sure do. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
With
cool.
all, yeah, EXP Holdings, and they are the largest Zillow Flex team. Period. And they were sharing their expectations, and they have first day 3 calls, next day 3 calls, so on and so forth. And then, by day 7, they're going to so many calls a day, and there's an expectation over the first 21 days you're going to call this individual X number of times. Right now, they have the luxury of having ISAs, and so they have these ISAs doing these calls. When you think about your standards and your expectations around continued ongoing follow-up, especially for dormant leads, people who don't respond or anything like that, do you have a standard that you express, and what is that, if so, and how do you enforce that?
Well, what we want everybody to do is follow the Zillow, move them down from, the status is down, met with, showing property and things like that. And then they put them on nurture in 24 hours. But also we have a program called Real Scout that I pay for everybody. I pay for
Mhm.
everybody, Follow Up Boss and Real Scout, and Amplified Solutions is what I pay for everybody on our team. And the Real Scout program, it connects with the FMLS and Georgia MLS. They're 2 MLSs in our city. So it connects both of them so they can immediately put them on Real Scout. And people that have been dormant, for a long time, all of a sudden they'll raise their hand and go, I want to see this house. So that Real Scout is really great with Follow Up Boss. We really like that, both of those. And then Amplified Solution, they're the ones that come into all your leads, and they nudge you. They just say, hey, you need to call this person. You need to call this person, when they're not doing it. They're in our account all the time, nudging people. But telling them to call this person 6 times, 5 times, 4 times, I don't know. I don't do that because I don't want to, micromanage every single person. They're all adults. For all adults, do you want the sell or do you not want the sell? If you want the sell, go after it, get it, go after that person, because everybody wants to feel important. So you have to show them that you care, and you show them that you care by saying, this house just came on the market, go show it to them, so you have to keep in contact with them or you won't sell. So they have to like you, know you, and trust you. Like you, know you, and trust you. And they like you and know you and trust you when you take care of them. So my dad was a realtor, and he was always like, you take care of everybody and they'll take care of you. And it's true. They'll pass your name on, own and own and own again. So you'll sell so much real estate by selling this Zillow lead. Each person knows 250 people, and that person who knows 250 people, they'll refer you all their friends. So Zillow is a great place to start your foundation for all your real estate.
Buyers become sellers. And when you think about your ongoing lead conversion process, because you talked about the 2 systems, and I'm not familiar with the other one, but I know Real Scout. In FUB, do you guys have campaigns set up that's distinct and different from the? I'm sorry, you mentioned the name of it starts with an A.
Amplified Solutions is the
Amplified
name of it.
Solutions.
And they have
Yeah.
campaigns and stuff set up, and you can use those. All those campaigns, that you can use
Okay.
them.
Okay.
So, and I'm not great at technology. I'm old in the real estate business. So all this tech stuff is, I'm always learning.
Okay. And do you find with it sounds like with the real time showings, that's a little bit of a different animal. But do a good percentage of your leads with Zillow Flex, do they go kind of dormant and cold that you got to kind of work them over time?
I think all leads are that way. Yeah, if someone life changes things. If they decide to sign a lease for a year or something like that, they
Mhm.
can change it. But although if they do to sign a lease, before they sign that lease, you can go to, Partners of America and get them to buy. You
Yeah.
can work anything. You can, you can help anybody with home ownership. And I think it's real important that everybody buys a home, because I think that and I think that it's our job to tell everybody in the public to buy a home. Otherwise, I think a lot of people want us to be a country of renters, and I want us to be a country of owners. So I want to make sure that we all buy homes and rental properties, and and everybody in our future buys all that too, because all the big corporate people are coming in and buying. In Atlanta, they're coming in and buying big plots of land, and the whole thing are all rental properties, for everybody. And I want I want Atlanta to be, have home ownership. I'm huge into home ownership, like we all are.
Amen. Yes. When you think about managing and coaching and leading a Zillow Flex team, we've talked a little bit about some of that, but are there areas of leadership and coaching that we haven't touched on that you think are really important if you're going to lead a Zillow Flex team?
Um, I think that you have to always, to me, I think that it's important to have other people's voices instead of mine all the time. So I always try to, and that's what I love about our team. Like, different people will stand up and speak and learn, have them be the speaker, and I feature them. I do a whole flyer on them. Our flyers are the cutest ever. So anyway, we have the cutest flyers, and it just makes you want to be engaged and come. So like Tracy, she's very good. And so she'll teach. And then sometimes we do panels of the top agents. And then sometimes we do cold calls. We do cold calls, and I'll make each one of the head people be, go into a different portion of this, different portion with a screened-in porch, or here, one of the bedrooms, or something like that. So all of them can, and they'll take 5 people with them. And then we'll do all cold calls, and the person that's head of that one will tell them how they would change things when they are actually calling their list from Zillow. So it's real
Okay.
fun. So we
I
do
like that.
things like that. What else do we do? Parties are big. We have parties. Anytime anybody's down, we have a party. I'm really big into parties, because I think that real estate is so stressful that my job is to make it less stressful.
I think real estate is your excuse to have fun, Harriet.
Exactly.
Um, for the folks who are thinking about building a Zillow Flex team, any kind of parting thoughts to them about, like, what what were your expectations going into it versus what the reality of it has been?
It can be kind of stressful sometimes, because Zillow has a certain way of doing things, and they change weekly. I mean, they bring something else on you weekly, but change is good. It's not bad. Change is good. And I think that if you're not able to pivot a lot, then you might not like being on a Zillow team lead, because you constantly have to pivot. Because the rule, like the real-time tours, that was completely different from the people calling. So, you have to constantly pivot. And then there are always rules in your state and federal rules, like like August 2007, all of that, the buyer brokerage. But, there are always rules that are changing. So you have to be able to pivot and change with it, and learn the technology. And all of it is kind of common sense. I know I kind of, technology, you just kind of got to dig in and do it. And a lot of people just don't dig in and do it. You just got to do it. And, it's just fun. It's a fun business.
Thank you very much for doing this.